Yo, 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 yo. High Value Sports. We are back once again. Like, share, and subscribe. You know the drill. Yo, we talking about Colin Cowherd real quick. Man, what is Colin Cowherd talking about? Bruh, this fool Colin Cowherd is stirring up the whole LeBron MJ debate. Now, I get it. I'm a person who can tangibly wrap my mind around why someone would think LeBron is the GOAT, especially if you're someone who had never really seen Mike play in real time. Totally can understand that because LeBron is bigger, faster, stronger, and just that basic, oh, look, he's bigger, faster, stronger, kind of motif can, dilute, I guess, or influence, someone's just view, and just kind of put it in a vacuum and say, hey, LeBron's better because he's just the bigger, faster, stronger guy. So I mean, that's just what it is, man. Blah 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 blah. And look all the stuff he accomplished and this, that, and the third. Yeah, he didn't win many chips, but the teams were better and this, that, and the third. So yeah, I get it. I can get why someone could wrap their mind around that. And as far as these arguments, so to speak, are starting to become, we, if anything, for me that we're learning is that you know, again, I'm not removing off Jordan being the greatest of all time because I haven't seen anything as complete and as succinct and could deliver, as consistently. I ain't seen nothing like it since him. But as far as any approximation, as far as not on, as far as any approximation, as far as a complete player who can give you the biggest amount of influence in one singular person on the court, I will say that LeBron is up there, potentially second best player, potentially, based on his impact on the court. I could see that. I can see that. But sometimes, man, folks come out of the woodwork just saying weird stuff to try to validate their LeBron as the GOAT thing. And this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And this Colin Cowherd one is definitely one of those. Because Colin Cowherd used one of these weird TV based disingenuous style arguments that really do, I feel like, a disservice. Because it's not even, don't even feel like sports journalism to me anymore. It just feels like weird sound bites that they need to make so that they can get their quota to get people to watch or something. And it doesn't seem real because there's obvious huge holes that could be poked in their arguments. It's not just succinct, regular, this is a take because this is what happened and look what they did. It's always some weird angle they take with it. So the angle he took with it was talking about he's the GOAT because he's won with more players. He's won with different style of players and that MJ could only win with Mike. Like he really tried to frame it in this weird way, saying that that MJ could only win with Scottie Pippen. Excuse me, he could only win when Scottie Pippen was on the team. And then he starts to frame the weird argument about look at what LeBron did. LeBron won with D Wade and Chris Bosh. Then he won with Kyrie and Kevin Love. Then he won with AD. Look at the variety of players he could win with. Ooh, Michael Jordan couldn't do that. And to not even to me, to just hear that and to like listen to that weird angle, it makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense because if we talk about the actual context of what actually happened in actual history as far as recorded sports and stuff, Jordan didn't need to win with other players because he won with the staple of players that were on his team for the most part. In his first three-peat, he had the same core rotation of players that he won with. He wasn't cycling new talent in and out of the team. He wasn't cycling a all-star or sub-level all-star player to supplement the team. He wasn't cycling mid-tier mid-tier specialists and two-way guys or rebound guys every second and third year off the team. Like if there was anybody shifted off of the team, it was a middling player that had very minimal influence on the team. Jordan didn't need all of these extra names because he won with the players that he had. And yes, of course, the NBA was slightly different. in because free agency wasn't as prevalent, but there's a certain level that gets excluded in these arguments, these weird takes, is that these players weren't just, oh no, I'm not that in the free agency, I'm not going to move around a lot. These players wanted to win with the teammates that they had. These players wanted to win wearing the jersey, living in the city that they lived in. They was an actual extension of themselves and their professionalism being connected to the city that they were at. They wanted to win and get the value out of participating in that whole entire process. They didn't want to just switch and hop teams all the time. And especially if you were a superstar level talent player, it was, unless there's some type of weird secret that none of the players have talked about, and they still haven't to this day, because players talk on podcasts all the time. These players weren't talking back then saying, "Oh, we were just held captive by the owners and the GMs, and yeah, we all wanted to leave and go play with each other and da 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 da." I ain't really heard that. I consistently hear these players saying they wanted to beat such and such. Like, man, Michael Jordan got on my blank nerves, man. Oh, Michael Jordan ain't the GOAT. I mean, we used to beat Michael Jordan in '87. Like they all talked like how they talked about the competition, and they talked about being a part of their teams, and they talked about the camaraderie of their teammates, and they talked about how they knew these dudes' families, and they was such and such going to such and such birthday parties, and they're being the god dad and all this type of stuff. They wanted to win with the squad that they had. And when we talk about this Jordan stuff, go look back at those teams. Jordan wasn't shuffling half the team every 3 years and re-upping on the supporting talent to get new legs every 3 years. He won those chips off the strength of the core of his team. That first chip, the first three-peat, was off the same core 5, 6 players. And then the second three-peat was off the same core 5, 6 players. Of course, they remixed, a few people. But the core people, and especially the lead dogs on the team, they weren't always being recycled every year. That's what is being taken out of context here with this Colin Cowherd thing. Colin Cowherd is going, oh, LeBron won with D Wade, and then he won with this, then he won with Kyrie, then he won with AD. The way he's saying it like LeBron just by himself showed up in Miami. Miami had that exact same team. LeBron is the only addition, and then he wins them a championship. And then while Dwayne Wade is still in his prime, he leaves, goes to Cleveland with the exact same squad of him, Kyrie Irving, and Andrew Wiggins, who just got drafted, and Tristan Thompson. He takes that team by himself as a singular entity, lifts them to a championship, and while they're all still in their primes, he leaves, goes to LA with the same core group of people. They make maybe a small little trade or whatever, or off-season acquisition to get AD and not shuffle all the young talent away, which is what they did, and gut the roster, which is what they did. Remake the whole team in his image again, like they did in Cleveland. Remade the team in his image, like they did in Miami. They didn't remake it in his image, but they remade that team into the Big Three's image. LeBron goes and recycles the talent, and you can't ignore that. As soon as Dwayne Wade got a bulky knee, it wasn't even just one step out of his prime. He bounces town to go get a 23 or 22-year-old, however old, early 20s, Kyrie, and then and a younger Chris Bosh and Kevin Love. He read up on players that were younger, and it could help carry this same load. It wasn't the exact same group of people that Michael Jordan stayed with. Then he does it again. When Kyrie leaves, he goes to another young team and finds what? Another young superstar to play with to help carry the load and help carry the team. These disingenuous arguments, man, they have to stop, because what would happen if LeBron stayed in Miami with D Wade in the bulky knee situation? What would have happened? We don't know, because he hightailed it out of town. What would have happened if he stayed in Cleveland and Kyrie left and he just stayed in Cleveland and tried to figure it out with the core group of people that he had? We don't know because he hightailed it out of town. And we see what's going on in LA. The dude can't even win a championship with the core group of people without recycling them too, because some hot younger people are now available. Let's go get the hot young talent again. Listen, I understand that LeBron went to 10 straight championships. I do. But I also know that of those 10 straight championships, he got there because he kept shuffling the freaking deck. He kept shuffling the deck. He kept re-upping the whole team, literally either internally or leaving. Whole new squads with brand new revitalized young talent that he could eat up off of and play with and everything else, and then do it a third time. He got there 10 straight times because he kept reing up on the talent. It wasn't just because he was LeBron and he was so great and he was so dope and he was so perfectly amazing. We have to keep the context in the play here. It would be impressive, and of course even more impressive, if LeBron stayed with one basic core group of guys and stuck with those guys and got to the finals those 10 times. MJ got to the finals without Scottie Pippen technically on two of those runs. Of course, he was there, but those last two runs, Scottie Pippen was barely playing. They talked about it, saying he was so out of it, he was literally just a decoy. He's literally just running around looking like he actually has some capacity to play, but his whole back is about to fold over. The man missed half the season because his back had been blown out. Pause, as they like to say. His back had been completely wrecked. I ain't never seen LeBron put up with nothing like that. He ain't never put up with that. Because the moment he had to put up with it, potentially, he hightailed it out of town and ran back to Cleveland. So, whatever, Colin Cowherd. LeBron's not the GOAT, in my opinion. There's too much weird stuff where he muddies up the waters. We've seen a career of someone who has much more pristine action to it, and that's just what it is. But this is just more on the sports journalism, doing these weird takes with these weird holes in them. And if anything, this is maybe good for people like us who can come on here and actually set the record straight. And that's where we at. High value basketball. Like, share, and subscribe. You already know the drill, family. Peace.